gonna learn how to draw again in 5 days, and I'm gonna take you with me. So many times I see comments, I can't draw, I wish I could draw, I wish I could be like, no. I'm struggling too, okay? This video gives me a chance to show what I'm learning, why I'm learning it, what is my thought process as I'm going through. It's not exactly a tutorial because I have no business to be teaching you how to draw. I never learned anatomy. I struggle with the fundamentals. My drafts are always very weird. This is how we started, but we're going to end it here. I know, anatomy sucks. All I cared about when it came to art was drawing pretty eyes and coloring. Yeah, that's about it. Not like my VTuber model took a long time just to get the head right. And then even when I got it right, I still had to fix it in the Live 2D program. I think it's time for me to learn anatomy. But I don't want to just learn head anatomy. I want to learn it fast. 4 days. So I gotta do effective learning. If you want to be a great artist faster, then you have to be able to recognize where you're struggling. How do you study it? And then when you're studying it, don't cram, learn. Oh, this line goes good here. I don't know why, but it's working. That's what I did. And thus all that knowledge leaves after a day. For example, the highlights in the hair. I can learn the jagged form that it goes around the head. Do I know why it's like that? Do I know where it's actually going, that it's a ring around the head? No, I just know the shape. So when I change the position of the head, I don't know where I'm placing it. You learn something like anatomy, you learn to connect the dots. Less brain power usage. Let's say you are just learning art and you're like overwhelmed with all the things you gotta learn. Start where you are most excited to start. I would have never continued art if I had to learn anatomy first. Just have fun and draw. You can always come back to this video when you want to enhance your art by learning some anatomy. And then you get to choose where you want to start. Like dynamic poses, then body anatomy is gonna be great for you. Don't let those skeletons, like actual body skeletons, scare you off from drawing. Now for those of you that are ready, let's talk about the lines. Day 1, I drew some heads. Day 2, which is today, I'm teaching back what I just learned to see if I'm missing anything. If you want to know where I got this information, check out this video. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. I do recommend drawing thinner lines. We're gonna draw a vertical line. This line is where you want your character to face. The very top is a little curve to show the curvature of the head, and I'm facing it a little closer to one side than the other. This line will be where the nose, chin, and lips are going to be. Now this horizontal line, and it has a little bit of a curvature because we want to make it look like a sphere, is going to be where I put the eyes under. Some people see it as a brow line. If you are drawing digitally, maybe you want these guidelines on a different layer. You want to adjust it. Then we're gonna draw a oval on the side of the head. It's kind of where the flat side of the head is. My brother described it as where like the fade would be. Then in the middle of the sphere, draw a line. This will help guide the ear and the jaw. Be free when you draw art. Don't think about like people are gonna say this, oh it's so bad. No thoughts. You gotta trust the process with drawing. It's gonna look funky in the beginning, but you can always clean it up later. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna take the side of the head middle line and connect it to the middle line on the whole face. Just drop it down a little, then swoop over. Another guideline I personally like to do, here is the brow line, and it's gonna go a little bit in and then a little bit out. This is because this is the brow bone. It's gonna go in and then it's gonna go out a little bit, and then it's gonna go back in till it reaches this middle part. I have the most trouble with the jaw. I usually end up shortening it, but sometimes you don't know if it's good or not until you are further into the drawing. So don't get hung up on it. Maybe you need to place the eyes and then get a feel for it that way. Almond eyes. Those are some almond eyes. They're also shaped like this. That's kind of what's been throwing this off. This line was too in the center when it should have been more like here. What helps me with the eye too is visualizing the nose. When you have an angle like this, it's gonna be a little bit of a swoop and then up and down. And again, you can make this any type of nose that you'd like. This brow and nose are kind of connected. This is nose anatomy. I thought the nose anatomy was so funny because like at the end of the day, after I'm done drawing it, it's gonna be like a nub. But here I am drawing a pyramid, or like a pyramid-like thing to map out where the nose is. I do these little circles for the nostrils, and I drew it earlier on this one. This is the nose anatomy, and then it just turns into this. And the anime style is still based in real life. It's just stylized. You're still mapping out the skull here. The opposite eye, another almond shape. It is short up here and then long here. And I'm still not loving the jaw. I think it's because the cheek is sticking out too much. And the reason I know that I don't like it that way is because I've just done it a couple times now, that something feels off to me. Again, not everyone may like what I'm doing. Maybe they're like, oh no, that cheek now, it's way too thin. Yeah, you're right. Everything I make turns into a chibi. And then the mouth comes in the middle. The eyebrows are going to be a little bit prominent forward. And they are thicker, usually, at the start. And thinner as we keep on going along. Not perfect, but gives me an idea of where they are. They will be sticking out more towards this direction. I was teaching my brother how to do this, and he was like, I really like Dragon Ball Z. I don't really want to do the eyes in the way that you're doing them right now, like the almond shape. This is just the place to put them. This is the concave, the skull, right? You can stylize this however you want. So he was telling me the eyes for Dragon Ball Z are a little bit more squarish. Let's make them like super square and see. Don't be restricted. Like, oh, now I gotta draw eyes that way. If you want to stylize it, go ahead. This shouldn't stop you. I want to draw it a little differently. The shadow of the eyebrow, I like to do that. Same thing over here. Especially nice to have it here because this eye, more of a curve to it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just giving her eyelashes, making them thicker. I draw that eye usually a lot like this. So here, you can see one eye this, one eye way more round. Boom, boom. Boom. Like a backwards 6. This one's gonna be a little bit more exaggerated. I like drawing bottom eyelashes. And I am going super like thin on this right now. I'm gonna erase. And let's see how we did. Because I might want to change up that jawline. The best way for me to check that everything is good is just flipping the canvas. I think that the eye looks weird. Definitely. I also think the cheeks can be changed up just a little bit. Oh, the neck. It's gonna be somewhere near the ear. And I still get told mixed things about the ear. Some people say do it a little bit above the line here. I don't know. At this point, I just put them somewhere and call it a day. I'm still not loving these eyes. I think this should go in a little bit. I'm going to slightly color it too. Sometimes during the coloring phases, I can see that something's like really wrong. I like to clean up the top of the head so it's following the head just a little bit more. Okay, I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna start erasing some of the other lines. She still has a bit of a cranium up there, which will be helpful for like figuring out the hair. If I were to do hair, this is kind of like what I would think of. There we have it, our head. And let me do a turnaround to make sure it looks nice. Flipperoo. So what I just did here is I just fixed up a lot of little things, such as the nose was way too upturned. I'm messing up everything. And this is why I cannot do human art. I just stare at this and do it for hours, but you know, now that I'm looking at it, they look pretty similar. I did not look at a reference when doing this. It was more like connecting the dots and building off of my memory. Okay, cool. Take everything I just learned and throw it in the trash because that's how it was the next day. I could not figure out how to draw a cheek again. This is what helped me the most. 1, identify where you struggle. I struggled with the cheek and the jawline. See it on all my drawings. There's always a ghost jaw, or I blended it into my shading. 2, if you don't like something in the drawing, move on. I can talk about this in 2 ways. In the example I showed you, I really didn't like the jaw at the beginning, and I kept playing around with it, and then I caught myself and I was like, I'm gonna be here forever fixing something that maybe I will know how to fix better if I draw the eyes first or draw the nose. See how more of that drawing goes. I stopped playing with the jaw, continued with the drawing, then went back and fixed it again. In another example, when I was drawing on paper, there was an angle that I tried out. I liked everything but the eye, so I ended up drawing it 3 more times. What happened? These eyes are uneven. They should be the same size. So I drew them the same size, hated it again. 3rd time. Oh, you know what? Maybe they shouldn't be the same size, but I'm still gonna focus on them because I have an idea. Eyes look great. If we crop this a little lower, we see the jaw. Awful. Whenever I try to fix something, it broke something else. That's how I felt. And if I quit after that, I wouldn't have gotten my favorite drawing of the day. Just don't get stuck and stay stuck. Your next drawing could be your best one. I went back to a face that I thought was too cute for me to draw in the eyes. I changed the direction just a little bit so it's more front forward facing. Now the 3rd one is conducting different types of studies. I did this angle because I thought it was the easiest to draw the cheek in. But you know the one that taught me how to actually draw a cheek? This angle, which is much harder. It made me feel more comfortable with drawing something that was a little bit sharper than a more curved line. I didn't overthink it because I didn't know how to draw this angle at all. So I was really just connecting this point to to this point. So step out of your comfort zone, because you don't know if that is going to teach you a better lesson than something that you were actually comfortable drawing. If you got to this part of the video, know that you are really determined to be a great artist. Give yourself that encouragement, that boost of confidence, because you deserve it. In day 3, you can see I'm gonna use the method of like learning and doing different case studies. Let's look at this one in particular. I watched another video by Mikey Mega Mega, showed a more upward perspective. Drawing the head was interesting because this time you're seeing a lot of the backside of the head. And you can see how important for me was drawing the circle on the side of the head and drawing the middle line, because what I'm mainly thinking about is just connecting that middle line to the middle line on the side of the face. I didn't feel confident to put any details in the eyes, so in day 4, no matter what, you are gonna put the eyes in the head. I was struggling. I kept making them way too big. I decided to pull up a different tutorial and I'm gonna place it here. This tutorial taught me to make a rectangle in the middle of the face, and it's a little skinnier than I showed here. You put a cross right in the middle, and where the cross horizontal line is, those are where the ears are going to be. The eyes are also going to be a little bit outside of the rectangle. When you connect the jaw, you can extend the vertical line. You're going to go past where the rectangle is. What we're learning is the planes of the face. This is me drawing it in a side view. Top half will be a big rectangle, and then the bottom half will be half of that, the square. The place where we can mark the jawline like this. Ooh. And then this will just come kind of straight down. The eyes will come a little bit outside of these lines, and then the circle will come down a little bit like this. That's why I don't feel like this tutorial is that great for complete beginners. Once you have understood the basic guidelines, it helps on fixing the dimension of the eyes. When I started implementing this, it was really bad in the beginning. It looked like this. The squares, rectangle. Oh, I drew a lot better there, where the eyes are sticking out just a little bit from that rectangle. This one was so bad. I hated it. This one, I was focusing so much more on how the tutorial drew it, and it came out to be this monstrosity. It's like I was focusing on his art while drawing mine and not even looking at my piece of paper. I'm very happy with the final one. I watched the video and then I drew something on my own. That helped me stay within my art. Think about the perspective that it's really in. Those were my 4 days of learning ahead. My 5th day was stylizing. I knew that I was drawing in a very cartoony style. I wanted it to be more like anime. I had to study some anime styles, and there's some key components. Since the eyes are bigger, there's also going to be a greater distance between them. I had to keep pushing them apart and pushing them apart and did it over and over and over again. I also wanted the face to be more mature. Something that I struggled with throughout this entire study was not making the chin too short. I kept bringing the chin down, and I had to feel comfortable with it even though I wasn't comfortable with it, and then fix other things so that I can get more used to a longer face. What also was so vital, where am I drawing the eyes? Am I just drawing pretty eyes looking anywhere? No, I have to make sure that the eyes are looking in perspective. Make it match with the face, and I feel like my first set of eyes did not do that. So my day 5 was just kind of showing the results of all that studies and stylization. So was any of this worth it? Can I really make such drastic changes to my art in 5 days? More than anything, it made my lines more confident, and I was able to understand placement a lot better. I think you'd be shocked to know that this one took me more time than this one. Confidence plays a level to how you're gonna draw. Your lines are more sure. You're able to move to the next step instead of obsessing over one spot. When I draw, I typically Frankenstein references until I come up with something that I enjoy, or I do the pose myself. Learning anatomy allowed me to not need a reference. I'm able to choose 3 different guidelines or combine them in order to get the type of face I like. The first one is the basic guidelines. The second one is the box method, and then this one that's just a circle. I was shocked at this tutorial. It is one circle with 3 guidelines across it. I think what it really helped me do is make sure that I'm drawing the eyes big enough, and it also was really nice with the cheek. Instead of drawing like a curve, all I did was draw a straight line that cut through the circle and met at this end. It does a nice little curve naturally. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a great time making it. If you learned something from this video, please let me know down below. If you give it a like, guess what? There's gonna be more videos like this. But as always, have a beautiful day, and thank you so much for watching.